With Year 8 Season 2 coming to a close, I thought I'd take it upon myself to create a list of the operators which I recommend you avoid next season. These 4 operators could potentially be holding you back, and there are just better alternatives which we'll get into later in the video. If you guys are going to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and without further ado, let's jump straight into it with number 1, and it's going to be Warden. Now, Warden is a bit of a controversial pick here because it all really depends on if Ubisoft decide to pull the trigger and remove that 1.5 times scope, which is making him picked way more than he should be. Throughout Year 8 Season 2, he has averaged about a 50% pick rate in all ranked games. And for an operator that doesn't really have a useful gadget which helps the entire team, that is absolutely ridiculous, and it is clearly only going to be that high because of the massive killing potential that he has with the 1.5 times scope equipped. So if they remove it, stop playing him. If they don't, then keep abusing it while it's still there. Moving on then into our second pick, and it is going to be Frost, and the reason for this pick is because she is going to be getting a major rework next season, and it can be seen as a major nerf as well. If you guys are not aware, starting next season, Ubisoft are going to be reworking Frost's Frost mat, which allows the attackers to revive themselves if they manage to get caught in one. Now, if they decide to take themselves out of the gadget, it will hit them with a 30-second debuff where they won't be able to sprint, they'll be leaving a blood trail behind them, and they'll be making a lot of noise for the defenders to play off of. But I think the fact that they are able to shoot back and defend themselves even after being caught in a Frost mat is going to be a major nerf to Frost and the way people are going to be able to play her. Now, I don't know why Ubisoft are going ahead with this rework. It is definitely the most unnecessary rework I have seen so far in the entire time I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege, but we'll just have to wait and see on how big of an impact it's really going to have next season. Moving on then into our third place pick, it's going to be a pretty obvious answer, but if you guys are playing Blackbeard, you really need to stop. He is not a good operator, his gadget is fundamentally flawed, and that means that if Ubisoft keep him the way he is, which I assume they're gonna because they haven't announced anything, Blackbeard is going to be still one of the worst attackers to bring. Now, the reason why I say he is fundamentally flawed is because if Ubisoft decide to buff his gadget, his shield, it will become instantly overpowered, because being able to block more than one bullet to the head in a game where one-hit headshots are insanely crucial is really not going to sit well in the community. However, if they keep it the way it is, it's going to be an extremely underwhelming gadget, and there's just so many better operators you can take other than him. So for that reason, I recommend you continue to steer clear of Blackbeard next season. Now, before we get into our final operator, I just wanted to go over a few honourable mentions. Starting off with Grim, we now know that his second phase of his rework is coming next season. I am aware he got a lot of buffs recently and it did make him a better operator, but I still feel like he is missing that spark, and there's, once again, so many more operators you can pick which are going to be more useful to the team. Some more operators which narrowly missed out on this list is Thunderbird. I think she's just not as good as she was when she launched, and there's not really much use to bringing her when you can bring a dot. Similarly, we have Twitch, which once again, I don't really see the need to bring a Twitch anymore now that we have Brava and Flores in the game, which seem to do her job but better. And another operator which narrowly avoided this list was IQ. Now, this one may surprise a few people, but I genuinely think IQ is becoming more and more useless the longer the game has been out. Yes, it can be useful as an attacker to be able to locate the gadgets, but the fact that IQ can't really deal with those on her own is going to be a major downfall. I feel like they need to add frag grenades or something to her loadout to try and help balance it out. And with all of that being said, then let's move over into the final operator which I recommend you avoid next season, and it is going to be Sens. Now, if you are going to play Sens, I recommend you steer clear of the POF9 assault rifle. Instead, opt for the DMR because I think it is just a much better weapon. The main primary weapon you get on Sens just has way too much recoil, and overall it just is gonna hold you back while playing an already semi-bad operator. But the real reason why Sens makes this list is because their gadget is so hard to use, and I think Ubisoft need to make a few tweaks to the gadget to make it more viable. For example, the first thing I would do to Sens to make them more playable is obviously make the hitbox of that gadget a little bit smaller. If they do this, it will make it so it doesn't really come off the the tiniest parts of, walls and stuff like that and come off at a dodgy angle, and instead it'll be a much cleaner experience when using it. But on top of that, I would also kind of rework them in a way which allows an overlay on screen to kind of show you the path that the gadget is going to take before you throw it. It's kind of hard to explain what I mean. I think the best example I can give is the line from 8-Ball Pool, where it kind of shows you where the ball you're about to hit is going to go so that you can avoid hitting other balls which you don't mean to. Personally, I think a change like this could revolutionize an operator like Sens. I do think there is potential in there to have a good operator, but the way it works right now, it's just so hard to get a good, useful gadget down when the hitbox of it is so bad.